Hey guys, Dave here. I'm going to do a quick playthrough of just Chapter 1 of Choose Your Own Adventure, the game, House of Danger. I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's going to ruin the game for you and there'd be no point in playing it, but we'll just do Chapter 1 and then I'll do a quick review of it. So the way the game starts is you flip over the player board and you look at this picture for 2 minutes and try to memorize it to figure out places you're going to want to visit and items you're going to want to seek and so forth. So after that, flip it back over and you grab the clue cards for Chapter 1. There's chapters 1 through 5 in here, so let me get those out real quick. Alright, so here's the Chapter 1 clues. And then we go to the regular story cards here and pick out just Chapter 1. So we got those there, and we put those there. And then we put the starter items down here. It's a pocket knife and a bottle of water. Alright, now we set up the psychic skill. It starts at level 1 on position 3. And we put the danger meter on the lowest part here on number 3. Let's start by reading the first story card for Chapter 1. You keep putting this on top so you don't see what the next card says until you get to it. Let me put it somewhere here where the light isn't reflecting off it. It's a Tuesday morning in late June and you wake up in a cold sweat. The nightmares came again last night. Even though you are an aspiring detective and psychic investigator, you haven't been able to make sense of the haunting dreams you've had these past few weeks. In your dreams, you keep seeing the same spooky house. You're still shivering under the covers when you hear the phone ring downstairs in your basement. Where you have your combination office and research laboratory. You dash down to the lab to answer it. I need, a weak voice says when you pick up the receiver. I need your help. You hear a loud click and the phone goes dead. But you were prepared. While the caller was talking, you activated your high-speed telephone tracing device and instantly displays the caller's number, 555-7259. You call back the number right away, but there's no answer. After consulting the tall stack of reserved phone books behind your desk, you are disappointed to learn the number is unlisted. You sense that the phone call is somehow related to your nightmares. Later, while at the Hedgebrook police station to return a nightscope you borrowed for a recent stakeout, you describe the mysterious phone call. Let's go to the next card. And your reoccurring dreams to your friend, Sergeant Morrison. That call does sound strange. He says we'll look into it. And about that house in your dreams, a voice says from the hallway, I wonder if you're dreaming about the Marston house out on Hedgebrook Road. Detective Murphy sticks his mustache face into the room. Modern house, ornate gate. That sounds like the Marston place, all right, says Sergeant Morrison. Strange things are reported to happen out there. Detective Murphy takes a puff on his pipe. That place is haunted, he says. I know it sounds unprofessional, but I've had a file on the Marston house for years and I'm sure of it. He waves a folder in front of your eyes and a phone number written on the front jumps out at you. It matches the one from your mysterious phone call. So the call is related to your nightmares. Your psychic senses were right. Draw clue number 26 to discover your goal. Alright, let's read the goal here. Chapter 1 goal, get inside the Marston house. Back at home, you grab a bottle of water and your trusty pocket knife, preparing for a new investigation. Half an hour later, you stand before the Marston residence, which appears exactly as it did in your nightmares. The house's futuristic look is a strange contrast to the antiquated appearance of the stone wall and the wrought iron gate, which is locked shut and wrapped in steel chains. Even though the air is balmy, a chill travels down your spine. The gathering clouds on the horizon hint at a brewing summer thunderstorm. If you search the wall for a way in, go to story card 13. If you climb the gate, go to story card 7. I'm going to search the wall for a way in, so I'll go to story card number 13. Basically, these story cards take the place of the pages of the book and choose your own adventure. Alright, number 13. Moving along the mossy stone wall that surrounds the property, you come across a jagged opening created by fallen rocks. It's just big enough for you to squeeze through. Once on the other side of the wall, you find yourself standing in a cobblestone plaza surrounded by marble and bronze figures. Most of the sculptures depict men gazing off into the distance as if pondering the deeper meaning of it all. But at the edge of the courtyard is a monumental statue of a man atop a muscular steed. To your right, a stony pathway leads away from the statuary and into a picturesque garden where toplery bushes have been trimmed into whimsical shapes. If you inspect the statue of the man on the horse, go to 4. If you walk around the topiary bushes, go to story card 15. I'm going to inspect the statue, so I'll go to 4. The horseman is a dashing, bearded Civil War soldier, his bronze face stoic. He holds out a cavalry saber towards the brooding sky. The sword's edges glints in the weak sunlight that penetrates the thickening clouds above. The sword looks almost new. At the base of the statue is a plaque that proclaims this as a memorial to Henry Marston. The plaque reads, Henry Marston, born 1839, died 1887. General in the Union Army during the Civil War, severely wounded at the Battle of Shiloh in 1862, appointed warden of Hedgebrook Prison in 1880. To your left is the entrance to a hedge maze. To your right is a graying picket fence with a rickety wooden gate. You can see the 2 stone angel statues and beyond them a cemetery. Optional challenge. Search the monument's base. Alright, so the challenge meter is on 3. So in order to win the challenge, I have to roll a 3 or higher. If I win, I'll draw a clue. If I lose, I'll raise the danger meter by 1, which will make it more difficult to do challenges later. So let's roll and see what I get. I get a 5, so I win, so I get clue card number 18. Let's take a look at that. Oops, wrong deck. Clue card number 18. Bonus story choice. Let's put this here. When you inadvertently press a hidden switch, the statue slides to one side, revealing a cement passage. Place the new story choice below at the bottom of the story card 4. This option may be considered when you are ready to make your story choice. Alright, so the new options there. If you enter the hedge maze, go to story card 12. If you visit the cemetery, go to 21. If you want to see where the hidden passage leads, go to story card 28. I'm going to go to see where the hidden passage leads. So I'll go to 28. You creep through the darkness and find the cement walls end as natural stone and earth begin. Occasional vents to the surface let in just barely enough light to see by. Ahead you glimpse the warm firelight of torches. You come to a fork in a tunnel lit by the dancing flames. One tunnel descends deeper and is half filled with water. You could swim through it, but you cannot see where the tunnel leads or how far it goes. Another tunnel looks partially caved in. Tiny clumps of earth periodically fall from the ceiling as you approach this tunnel, and several of the supports that hold the walls up have gaping cracks in them. If you dive into the water-filled tunnel, go to 22. If you explore the partially collapsed tunnel, go to 16. I'm going to go to 16. It seems to be less dangerous, so let's go to 16. Uh-oh. Without warning, the earthen walls begin to collapse around you, and before you can react, you are up to your waist in dirt. You writhe and twist, trying to escape, but it only causes more soil to cascade down. Soon it's up to your shoulders, then your neck, then your cheeks. You struggle to split the soil out as it fills your mouth, but within moments you are fully buried. You can only see the dark earth in front of your eyes. Your hand closes around a metal disc, perhaps a coin. You'll never know, though, as the soil fills your lungs and the world wavers and goes gray before finally turning black. The end. Move back one space on the psychic scale and return to the previous card. Anyhow, if you're probably wondering what the psychic scale is for, well, I don't want to give away too much in the game, but there are instances in the game where being a certain level on a psychic scale would give you a different choice or a different path. So in this game you want to get the psychic scale as high as possible. So let's go back to the previous card. Alright, so the tunnel, we know that killed us. Or excuse me, the partially collapsed tunnel killed us, so let's go back to dive into the watery filled tunnel instead, which I thought would be more dangerous, but apparently is not. This game's different almost every time you play it, because it's unlikely you're going to make the same exact choices as you did the previous time, so turn the light up a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. Mustering all the courage you can, dive into the watery tunnel. You dive into the watery tunnel. There's just enough room in the tunnel above the water for you to lift your head between strokes and take a breath. Eventually the tunnel drops lower and lower until it's completely submerged underwater. You hold your breath, dive down, and look around. After about 30 feet, the tunnel opens up to a bigger body of water, a pond or a pool with sunlight beaming into it. You pop up for air. Well, I've come this far, you think. You're ready to chance it. You take a deep breath and dive down again. You get 10 feet in, 15 feet in, 25 feet in. Just as you're about to exit the underwater tunnel, something tugs on your leg. You cannot tell if it's an animal or if you're caught in an underwater vine. Fight to escape. So this is a required challenge, so I need a 3 or better because I'm a 3 on the danger meter. So I get a 4, so since I win, I draw clue number 20. Alright. This is actually pretty close to the... I mean, it's got a... the psychic scale isn't in the original book, The House of Danger, or neither is the danger meter, but the storyline seems pretty close to the original story in the book, so that's kind of interesting. Alright, clue number 20. Let's read this. The thing, whatever it is, wraps more tightly around your leg. It's pulling you down. Another tendril or tentacle slides around your neck. You pry it off, and with the last of your strength, you give a powerful kick and you're free. Just like that, the thing is gone. You emerge into a swimming pool with a lush pool house next to it. Lower danger meter by 2 and go to story card 23. Well, the danger meter is already the lowest it can get, so we'll just go to story card number 23. Alright, story card 23. It's obvious that nobody has cleaned the pool in ages. The water is a murky green and the surface is littered with leaves and branches. Ripples pulse outward from the center of the pool. Out of nowhere you hear a commotion. You look around and wonder if it's coming from inside the pool house nearby. Then you see movement on top of a gazebo in the distance. Someone or something is engaged in a struggle up there. Maybe they need your help. Then again, if you offer assistance, you might end up needing help yourself. Optional challenge, investigate the ripples in the pool, so let's try it out. I fail. If you lose range, raise danger meter by 2, and then try again if you wish. Yeah, I'll try again, why not? Alright, so I passed that time. Okay, winning, I lower danger meter by 2. And then I draw clue number 8. You walk down the steps into the water and see what's making the waves. A strange whirring metal spear, slightly bigger than a softball. You impulsively grab it. The spear vibrates in your hand. There are 2 buttons on it. You press one, nothing happens. You press the other button, the spear continues to vibrate. Instinctively, you press both buttons at the same time. The spear stops moving and begins to glow. Now you draw clue number 21. Some of these clues, by the way, are items, and you'll need them later in the game. I found playing the game that you want to be able to draw as many clues as you get, so anytime I get an option to try and get a clue, I attempt to do so. Whirring metal spear. Your psychic senses tell you this is an important item. Keep this item. Move forward 3 spaces on the psychic scale, so this was real good. Because like I said, you want to get that psychic scale as high as possible. Now you finish story card number 23. If you go to the pool house, go to story card 11. If you go straight to the action at the gazebo, go to story card 9. I'm just going to go to 11. You can tell that the pool house was once quite luxurious. It contains half a dozen private rooms with showers as well as an ornate mahogany bar in the common area. It must have been fun to hang out in this place in its glory days. Those thoughts fade as the sound of a disturbance erupts from the top of a gazebo in the distance, and now you can hear a lone violin playing a soothing melody. If you investigate the gazebo, go to story card 9. If you follow the sound of the violin, go to 17. The violin's more interesting. Let's see what that is. So I'll go to card number 17. You move further and further towards the hypnotic sound of the distant violin, which is oddly calming and uplifting. Even as the winds increase around you, you notice there is a driveway up in the distance, but before you get there, you arrive at a horse stable with an open gate. Inside, sitting on a stool, is the source of the violin music, a chimpanzee playing his heart out, a soulful expression on his face. The chimp is fully committed to the music. You have never heard such an emotional performance. It's beautiful. If you leave the stable and run to the driveway, go to story card 30. If you tiptoe through the gate to experience the full power of the performance, go to story card 24. I'm going to leave the stable and return to the driveway. Nothing good can come out of talking to a chimpanzee with a violin, as far as I'm concerned. You appear in a driveway which leads you to the mansion's entrance. On the door is a plaque that reads Marston and a large crystal door knocker which seems newer than everything else on the front of the building. You knock loudly many times, but there's no answer. The storm is really picking up now. You try the doorknob and are surprised to find that the door is unlocked. You've been lucky enough so far, but you wonder if you've missed something. Before you enter the house, you look back. You can see a few clear paths. One leads towards a statuary, another to a small cemetery. Two more paths stretch out towards a watery ditch with a gate and the house's luxurious pool. You can go back to explore if you want. So you can either end the chapter here, or you can go back to the statuary, which will raise your danger meter, but you might find some clues. Or the same goes with the cemetery, which would raise the danger meter, but you might find clues. Or you can head to the ditch, which will do the same, and you might find clues. Or you head to the pool, raise the danger meter by 2, and go to story card 23. So right now you're pressing you can either go to chapter 2, or you can press your luck looking for clues, which is going to raise the danger meter. So it's up to you. But anyhow, let's go to my review of the game now. Actually, I forgot to show you guys one thing. Some of the clues are items. And these are the 2 that came with the pocket knife. If you get a challenge that involves fighting, it adds +1 to the die roll. Or you can discard at any time the bottle of water here to lower the danger meter by 3. So I just wanted to point that out. So what did I think of Choose Your Own Adventure, House of Danger? I liked it. I read the original book when I was a kid. I had enjoyed reading it when I was a kid. Read it many times in order to get different endings. That's how Choose Your Own Adventure books are. You get to one ending and you keep trying to get better endings until you've got what you perceive as the best ending, and then you move on to the next book. As far as how does this relate to the book, the storyline is very similar, like extremely similar. I mean, there are some differences. Choose Your Own Adventure books, you're basically just making a choice and going to that page, whereas this has the psychic scale, and it also has the danger meter, and it has clues, some of which are items. So there's more mechanics, which makes this is better than the book because of it. I'd rather play this than read the book, so even though I enjoyed the book. As far as good points and bad points, good points, the story's fun. I mean, it's a little wacky. Bad points being maybe a little bit too wacky. I mean, like you saw, there's instances where you come across chimpanzees with violins, which is just plain silly, and a few other parts of the book are just plain silly, but it is fun. The worst part about it is the same as the worst part of the book. There are instances where you just make a choice to either enter an area or interact with something, and then you're just killed. There's no challenge roll or anything. You choose to do this or interact with this, and you're just dead, which I don't like. There's no strategy in that. I would prefer if you made like a bad choice of like interacting with a non-player character, that you at least get a roll where you can see if you survive. Sometimes you do, but if I recall correctly, there's some instances where you don't. You just by interacting with this non-player character, you died, or by interacting with this piece of machinery, you died. So I don't know, that wasn't that good. But overall, I really like the game. The people who are going to like it are people who read Choose Your Own Adventure. They're going to find it probably to be better than the Choose Your Own Adventure books, even though they were probably fanatics about the books just like I was when I was a kid. So as far as like the millennials now, are they going to like it? Some of them are. Most of them, I think most of them will not. They're more. I mean, my generation, even though I'm old, was a video game generation. I mean, I'm 45 years old, and as far as I know, there was a home video game system my entire life. I think when I was first born, it was just Pong, so I guess I'm from a video game generation too, but it's not to the extent of the new ones. Millennials, I think most of them would choose to play something else. However, the older people like me and people who have a lot of experience with Choose Your Own Adventure are really going to like it, so that's who it should be marketed to. Anyhow, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please click like on it, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel. It really helps me out, and as always, have a good evening.